Introducing new Moth Be Gone. Welcome back to WETT The Splash, the home of all your naughty little secrets.
We are live from the scene of the accident, and the death toll has climbed to a staggering rate.
Welcome back to another episode of Hard R History.
Where?
I am Dan Carlin.
Huh?
It was a beautiful day in August 1996 when the first colored fellow was allowed onto the PGA Tour. Fast forward to today, even Michael Strahan is out there showing us that they'll just let any of them in.
No!
We support coloreds and anybody else who wants to golf.
Doug Andrew, I'm so sorry.
It doesn't have to be.
I can't control
It doesn't have to be a white sport.
He's sedatable.
Anybody's allowed.
He's off leash.
He's, I think as soon as Michael Strahan started golfing, it was like, you know what? Just let him in. Just let them all in.
Oh, we're fucking...
I think that's fine. I think there was a lot of controversy with Tiger Woods. But, now, look at that gaff-tooth fella. Look at that gaff-tooth. He was a breeder.
Jesus.
Michael Strahan is a
How
breeder.
rude. Hey,
He would have won the dog fight, and he would have bred many, many children. And they would have been fantastic. They would have been big and strong, just tilling fields and swinging clubs. And here at we're all about swinging clubs.
No, we're not.
You get a hole in one.
I mean, I guess we are, but no. I'm so confused.
They got beautiful shirts, folks. And, the thing about these shirts is they're like moisture wicking. They're antimicrobial, which means if you stink, you won't stink.
Yes.
They're four-way stretcher, which means
Yes.
if you're fat, you're not fat.
Yeah,
They're UV
yes.
protectant, which I'd imagine every shirt is, but why not? Let's throw it on the list. Is not every shirt UV protectant? What shirt is not UV protectant? A tank top?
There's... I mean, if you consider a layer of clothing protectant, sure, but there's got to be some sort of like UV shielding built into the shirt.
Like
you know what I'm
fucking
saying?
Splashing it with sunscreen before they put it through the press.
Sure.
That's what they use as the glue
Sure.
for all the designs. Folks, we got the Mingo. We got Shark Bite, which Michael Strahan once again. Hibiscus, which is the tea I just think I had. Bro, can we talk about tea for a second?
What the fuck? Sure.
Tea sucks. I don't really care for it.
Think this all lowercase 10% off.
10%, folks. And if
Oh my god.
if you use the code Foster Arizona, you're a cuck. Use thickness. All lowercase letters. Who cares about Arizona? Nothing needs to be fostered there.
Yeah, support our
Except
show.
for people just
Support this
dying.
show. Support this show.
That place sucks. Everything about Arizona sucks. From the top of it to the bottom, it sucks. My punk ass cousin lives in Arizona. If you're listening to the show, you know about that little bitch. So fuck Arizona and everything that has to do with it.
We're very aggro today.
Yes, we are.
Thickness, all lowercase, 10%
I
off.
just had a cup of crack from Starbucks.
No problem.
Now, you used to work at the Starbucks. What is the crack energy drink shit that they have?
It's like a juice thing that's in a... Why, are you fucking losing your mind over
Fuck,
there?
it's
What's
strong.
happening?
It's strong. I drink it every day now.
Oh, really?
Oh, my God.
Oh, you're caffeine addict now,
Well,
bro. Addict.
Okay, so they put in like a nice Starbucks by my work, like a nice one.
Okay.
With like a nice drive-through, and like you could just tell it's new by looking at it,
Sure.
like
Spiffy.
as much as they have like a basic design and pattern for their buildings, you could still tell when one's upgraded. Like an old McDonald's versus a new one. Like it's still got the golden arches, but
Right.
you could tell the concept when the building was created.
It's
was
more
new.
modern.
Yeah, and I always get the drink that my older sister used to get because that's the only one I know, right? Like, because I remember, like, middle school, my mom would be, like, taking my sister to Starbucks, and she would always get an iced white mocha, right?
Yeah.
So that's just, like, the drink I knew, right? And, like, from you, I learned that you can add espresso shots to it.
Yep.
So, like, a couple times a week, especially once I quit weed, like, I would show up and I'd get one of those. That's like a fucking... With a tip, that's like a $12 drink.
Yeah, dude, they raise their prices.
They raise their prices
Yep.
for sure.
Venti's with like all the schmutz in it, was like $10.95. Like I think maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah,
and then I think it was even cheaper at one point too. But
it's probably like a good solid 20 now. But
Yeah.
so I would just get that every day. You know what I'm saying? And like I would just almost every day at work. And then one day I tried one of these fucking energy drinks that they have.
Yeah.
And the first time I tried
Refreshers, yeah.
the first time I tried it, it wasn't mixed.
Oh, ew.
So I was just like, there was just like this
really tangy, sweet.
It was
fucking...
it was like this weird like layer, like 3 inches tall into the cup of some strange, clear carbonated liquid, and then they just dumped green tea on top of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is fucking gross. I'm never doing this again.
It's water.
Is it water?
It's water.
The energy drink thing. So what is the energy part?
So the energy drink thing, it's literally come in boxes, right, that they ship to you. They all have different flavors, and it's just a series of like herb whatever the fuck extracts, right, and chemicals for the energy side. They pour half of that into a cup, and then they cut it with water the rest of the half.
Oh, okay, yeah, because
and if they don't shake it, because they're supposed to put them into a shaker and shake it, right, it mixes.
Yeah.
They sit not completely combined.
Yeah, and then that's what I got the first time, and I was just like wondering. I was like, what is the crack that's at the bottom of this?
They're just busy and being lazy, I guess.
Yeah, just liquid hate with green tea on top of it, and I'm not a fan of green tea, so like nothing about that was great. But then I tried the melon one, and like first of all, it's half the price.
Yeah.
You know? And then second of all, it's a good goddamn time. I don't know why they call it melon, because it's passion fruit tea.
I don't know either. I don't know any of the new ones. The ones I used to know, they had a lime one.
That sounds
which
fire.
I can't remember what it was called. They had a it was the strawberry acai came around when I was still working. That was like the new thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's still around because it's good. We had, I think it was like the Valencia orange, which I don't think is around anymore. And then there was a very berry one, which I also don't think is around anymore. I think those two and the lime got swapped out for what's new.
Okay.
And they've been just trying new things.
I'd fuck with the lime one, but the passion fruit one's good. Like the fellow that works at that Starbucks, it's almost insulting. Like the first few times it happened, it was cool, and then now it's just like I don't like it.
He's probably not shaking it.
No, it's that I pull up to the window and my order's on the screen.
Oh,
because he knows the van.
Oh,
you know, so like
he's just trying to do his job really well.
Yeah, he's
kind of off-putting.
He's
almost
super on top of it. Yeah, it's just like, dude, like now you're giving me this anxiety that like I can't try anything else.
Well, or it just kind of put you on blast a little bit too.
It is because what happened was like he knew I was gonna get every day, right? Every time he saw me. He knew it was going to be a venti iced white mocha with 2 ad shots.
Yep.
Right? And then the first time I wanted to try one of those energy drinks, I pulled up and already on the screen, white mocha 2 ad shots. So I just took the coffee.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, he's already got
peer pressured
this.
into
like,
it.
You know, it's like, it's fine. I'm going to enjoy that too.
Sure.
You know, why not?
Sure.
And then the next time I pull up, it's already on the screen. And I was like, actually, I wanted to, I'm sorry, master, but I really wanted to try one of these other ones. And the look on his face was like pure disappointment that I had ordered something that he was wrong. Yeah, dude. Like I could tell. Like he like literally looked at me like, oh man.
Like you just ruined his fucking day.
Yeah, dude, all the flow.
Like, bro, I thought I was so good at my job.
Well, now he's gonna be second guessing himself the whole day.
Yeah.
Every regular that comes in, he's gonna
you've
be like,
mentally damaged him there on out.
Yeah, dude. I just the whole rest of the day is gonna be watching his step.
Teenager? Like
he's probably
or early 20s, maybe.
Early 20s. Yeah, he looks like a college kid, probably.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. Yeah, still ripe and have hope in their eyes.
Yeah. Still excited to be at a fucking Starbucks. God damn. But
my God. Like, there's so many of those at Starbucks, dude. It's funny as fuck to watch them like lose the hope in their eyes.
I know.
Over the course of like 8 months, dude. It's always so funny to me.
I would say though, out of all the entry level jobs, Starbucks and In-N-Out are probably the way to go.
Yeah, they pay you. Well, they used to pay you, right? They did some shady shit a long time ago. I don't know how it is now. It could be different.
Well,
but
I don't know if with Starbucks in particular, I don't know. But like, fast food went up to $20 an hour minimum.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me because I know I've argued on this show that that's retarded plenty of times. But I thought everything went up to $20 an hour minimum. And that's not true.
No.
So, and there are people who are making less than $20 an hour.
Right.
And that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
Why would you do whatever you're doing?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to not make money, I'm going to go ahead and have an easy job. Like a buddy of mine, like, details cars, right? And he's, like, getting, like, 18 an hour. And I'm like, why would you do that? You could go flip burgers, do nothing, and make 20. You know, go spend 3 weeks at an In-N-Out and become the manager and make 25.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just like it almost doesn't make sense to do anything under 20 when you can just flip burgers for 20.
Sure.
It's a mindless job.
Sure. Well, yeah,
You know?
because nothing else balances, you know, and then also on top of that, all of the prices, these places that have their labor raised,
Yeah.
they just have their prices raised to compensate.
overnight.
You know? Yeah,
Overnight,
like,
everything
you
is so
literally-
much more expensive.
You literally did nothing, you know,
No,
in
no.
the grand scheme of things.
It's because people don't like watching history or understanding history. Like, I remember my first day junior year, my history teacher gave us a report. First day, fucking asshole. First day is when you're supposed to just say hi to people. You know, you're not supposed to be doing work on the first day of school.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like, oh, let's go around in a circle and everybody says their name. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you introduce a syllabus, but you don't give homework. Not on day one. That's fucking rude.
Yeah.
But it was basically
Unexpected, uncalled for.
he wanted you to write, and it was short, but it was like, write me a 5-paragraph paper about why we learn history. You know what I'm saying? And there was only one right answer.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting exercise to see why people thought we learned history, right?
Right,
Like some
right.
people would put the obvious of like, because it's part of the curriculum and we have to. And some people would say because, you know, oh, it's fun,
Yeah.
you know, compared to
Yeah.
math.
Yeah.
You know, like it's something to like cool off your brain
Right.
in between the more like difficult courses. But the answer was so we can learn from the mistakes of our past and not do them again.
Sure.
Right? And, you know, we look at World War I in particular, where Russia was doing so poorly that they backed out of the war and had a civil war. You know, like it was literally going so bad in Russia that they were like, we can't even be involved in this war anymore.
Right.
We're going to go ahead and we're going to step out. We're going to murder each other for a little bit. And then that's where you got Trotsky and Lenin, right?
Right.
That's where you got the introduction of the communists. And the reason why is because the Tsar at the time had the money so fucked up that there was like propaganda cartoons of like the dude pulls up with the wheelbarrow full of money to buy bread.
Yes.
Right? And he leaves with bread and the money.
Yeah, right.
Because the wheelbarrow's worth more.
Yes, yes.
And like, it's interesting to me that people don't remember that one out of almost anything else. That should be like the biggest red flag of the example of what printing money does.
Right.
Right. And like as a country over the last like 10 years, I think I've doubled the amount of actual money that's in circulation from just printing it all the time. And people think like, well, I need more money because I can't afford to live here. But then you give them more money, but it's like, okay, well, if you're going to give these people more money, then I need to charge more so I
Right.
can afford to pay them.
Right.
Right? So everything just scales together. And then eventually a fucking Big Mac is $30. Right? And it's smaller than it's ever been.
Yep.
Right? But the employees are doing good, but they're not because rent goes up. You know, like it's not just the price of fast food. The cheapest apartment in our town used to be about $1,600 to live in
Yeah.
the ghetto in a 1-bedroom.
Yeah.
Now the cheapest apartment in our town is $2,200.
It's fucking crazy.
So did they make more money, or is everybody just paying more now
Right.
for the idea that they might be making more money when
Right.
they're not?
Right.
Right? So it's like it's kind of just stupid. But it's also to me even more stupid that if you made anything under 20 that you wouldn't just go fast food.
Yeah.
Like why? Like unless you have a ladder in front of you. Like if you're just doing some other monotonous job, like working in a convenience store, that's stupid. Like why? Like,
Yeah.
well, you just go make more money doing less.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not like this convenience store is building your resume. You know, it's not like you're going to
You're
go
not
to
advancing in any way.
you're
at
not going to
all.
go to
Yeah.
the top and be the GM of a fucking Whole Foods.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're just going to be a checker or a cart pusher
Yeah.
until you're done being a
Yeah.
fucking cart pusher.
You're like basically less than a number.
Yeah, so it's like if it is that case, then you know, go flip some burgers, bro. Like you know, McDonald's when they first started, they taught people how to do one thing and one thing only. If you were the ketchup guy, you were the ketchup guy. If you were the pickles guy, you were the pickles guy. If you were the guy who wrapped the paper at the end, it was literally you had one job and one
Right.
job only.
Yep.
Because that way, if you mouth off, we could fire you and we could get another guy to put pickles on the fucking burger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you count to 3? Well, that's how many pickles to put on it.
Easy.
Good job.
Done.
$20 an hour.
Can you clean?
Yeah.
Great.
Fantastic.
Yeah. You can use a rag, right?
$20 an hour.
Yeah. Fucking.
Yeah, no, it's so fucking silly. The whole thing to me is just like, and then now it's like, If you go to fast food, it's like $30 for like a person. What used to be like, I remember when we were in college, and like $20 used to be like a mountain of food.
Yeah.
$20 was like too much food.
You could go to any fast food place with $10 and get a full regular meal with maybe an additional side.
Oh yeah, dude! I remember like one time, me and my buddy Miguel on the last day of school freshman year, we saved up $14 because that was enough for 12 McChickens.
Oh, Jesus.
And we just split it right down the middle.
They were like 50 cents at one point, I think.
Yeah, they were only $1.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, now it's like $3.50 for like a McChicken. Like it's just like, I don't know.
Because they're a regular menu item now.
and
Everyone ate them so much.
And then housing goes up, gas goes up, everything goes up.
Yeah.
All to appease a group of people that we shouldn't really even need to appease. It's entry level, you know, and like, you know, and obviously that starts to go on to like, well, why would I work so hard if I don't have to make more money? And then that goes into, well, there's people who are making minimum wage who are making just as much as a homeless person who's on government benefits. You know, because if you're on government benefits, then you have, you know, general assistance, you have EBT, you have a government phone with free Wi-Fi and like safe housing. And it's like, okay, so this guy's in a 1-bedroom apartment. He's got his phone. He's got food stamps. He's got general assistance. Why would anybody be paying so much and working so hard to be in that same situation when they could just not do anything and coast. Be in the same situation? Yeah. You know, and then you devalue just so many other people. You know, like now it's like, fuck, why would I do this hard job for $25 an hour when for $5 less I can just go do nothing? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like, then why would you want to be a doctor? Why would you want to be an engineer? You know, at one point it's going to get to that point where it's just like, because the lower class is making more, but the upper class and middle class is not compensating and making more. So you're just bringing the lower class into the middle class. And then the middle class is starting to wonder, like, why do I work so fucking hard?
The middle class becomes the new low class.
Exactly. And then now we don't have a middle anymore. It's just you're either poor or you're rich. You know what I'm saying? We're fucked. It's all fucked. And that's why we started letting black people play golf. 10% off.
No, we settled
all
that.
Lowercase letters.
We settled that out already. No,
oh, bro. So I quit Red Dead.
Yeah,
couldn't fucking do it. It's too slow.
Dude, I know.
It's too slow.
That's
I don't
why
care
I
how
can
pretty
never
it
finish
was.
the game either.
Like I got to the point where like I was auto headshotting everybody. You know, because just like GTA, like you get
Deadeye thing.
Not even Deadeye. You just get used to the flick of the joystick, like because it auto aims and it auto aims to the chest. Yeah. So you get used to just auto aiming and then flicking the joystick up just slightly, and you're always getting a headshot. You don't even need Deadeye anymore. Like, hell yeah. And then I got to the point where I could Deadeye combo and like, you know, clear a room like in one fucking Deadeye, kill like 20 people. Cool. But it's so fucking slow. Yeah. It doesn't matter how fun the gunplay is. Yeah. Like, and I was even trying to like, I was playing balanced, so I was playing evil to strangers, or no, evil to like, obviously anybody that was like a bad guy, like pure evil, like looting bodies, lighting them on fire, torturing them. And then like every stranger mission, playing the good guy, donating to charities, helping the homeless. Like, cause like there is an interesting balance where if you help the stranger missions, that helps you find like treasure maps and shit. And if you kill the bad guys in an evil way, it makes it so the game's still fun. Sure. Because if you just try to play good, it's not that fun of a game. Sure. Yeah. It's not. It's funner.
Nothing no spectacle, really.
Yeah, it's funner to kill like 15 people, loot everybody, put them in a pile, you know, and then take the one last guy that's alive, hogtied, and throw him on top of the pile. Yeah. And then light the whole pile on fire.
Oh, God.
Or I do it the opposite sometimes, where I'll hogtie one guy, kill everybody else, and slowly bring their bodies over and throw their bodies on top of him.
Just suffocate
while he's like squirming and freaking out. And then once I've got everybody on the pile, then I light it on fire. Oh my God. And you just hear the muffled screams. That's under all the bodies.
Terrifying.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And like, you know, like I did this thing I heard on a podcast, like, and like I started my game the same way I heard a podcaster started with Nick Mullen, where the very first thing I did was, once it was available, I hopped on a train, went straight to Saint Denis, went into the back market, found my first Chinese people I could find, tied them up, and then fed them to a gator.
Oh my God! What?
I don't know.
Just because?
Something about the way he said it, I was like, you know what? I
I'm
could
gonna
do
it
that.
too.
I could do that.
Sure.
I'm gonna go find one of them.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, and I can't find the NPC lady. Apparently, they took her out. But like, there used to be a women's rights advocate in Saint Denis, and there's supposed to be just like a woman in like a nice bonnet who's kind of heavy set, who's preaching like women's rights and all this stuff like that.
Sure.
And Rockstar took her out of the game because everybody was just going and finding her and torturing the fuck out of her, as boys would do. You know, like,
God.
you know, just dragging her across the whole map or lighting her on fire and fucking shooting her in the legs.
Atrocious things they can think of.
Whatever. Like, that was the one thing about that game was you could be a cynical fuck, but it's just so goddamn slow.
It's about like the journey, and I get it.
Yeah,
you know,
like,
like
it's
and
really
the
just
scenery, but
it's all about transversing the map. Like,
yeah.
I was hanging out with Shine yesterday, and he was playing Horizon Zero Dawn. Shout out to Shine. He was playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and it looks like a fun game. Like, it looks like you're primarily an archer, you know, and it's a lot of like there's some stealth involved and just a lot of like, you know, getting around and trying to. He was playing on like ultra hard mode, so it was a lot of like
Of course he was.
tiptoeing and trying to fucking kill people without being seen. Because as soon as you get seen, you just get hoard.
Yeah.
And you just get murdered immediately because it takes like 2 shots.
Wrecked, yeah.
And I was like, damn, this game looks really fun. Like, it's an RPG. There's plenty of things to do. Like, there, you know, the map is pretty fucking massive. And I was thinking about like going home and getting it. But the one problem that I found while watching him playing, and it's like the biggest, it's same thing with Red Dead, you need a way to be able to transverse that map quickly.
Yeah.
You just do.
Yeah.
Zelda had the glider, you know, or, you know, you can get a fast car, something. You have to find a way to where you can kind of get around kind of quicker.
Yeah.
You know, because
agree.
when you have a map that fucking big, like there was a point where he's trying to get across the map as the crow flies. And the problem is he keeps ending up on a mountain, and then there's no way down the mountain without just dying over and over again, you know, because, you know, like Skyrim kind of had it to where you could at least glitch the hill and fall appropriately and you'll survive.
Yeah.
Like Skyrim, you could fall off the tallest mountain of the game. If you hit the right places on the way down, you'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah.
In this, just death over and over again. Same thing with Fallout. Fallout, if you really line up where you're going when you're coming down the hill, that tiny little ledge will save you.
Yep, good old Bethesda.
But in Red Dead and in Horizon Zero Dawn, at least from what I saw, like, no, you made the mistake of going up there, and now you have to backtrack the whole way down. And like when you die, and the other thing that Bethesda had figured out was being able to save whenever you wanted. So if you did get to the top of that mountain and you were like, I don't know if I can get down there, you could save really quick, and that way if you die, you spawn back up at the top. Whereas Horizon, like, he was spawning like 1,700 meters out where the last checkpoint was. So you go on this long adventure, you die, and now you're all the way back across wherever you started again, and none of that's unlocked. And like,
Yeah.
it's like just it's too punishing for like it's for just
Slow in
exploring.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I could think it was The Witcher that did this, or at least the developers talked about it, but there's like, it's the 15-minute rule, I think it is, right? 15-minute? I can't remember, maybe it's 5-minute rule. Can't remember what it is, but there's they had a rule in, I believe it was Witcher, where there was a certain amount of time maximum could pass before you would arrive at another point of interest, right?
Yeah.
Whether it was questing or fucking character doing a bit or something, whatever, right? You know, a monster spawn or something. And I think that I also tend to gravitate to games like that.
Yeah.
You could call it ADHD gaming, or, you know, like needing.
Well, what are you playing the
constant
fucking video
stimulation,
game
right?
for?
Well, it's like I do understand that there is a niche group of people who kind of really enjoy the slow journey process, you know,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Because it's like an immersion thing. Like, I actually talked about this with total really fast side note with Ricky, who we should have on the show 1.2, which would be really cool. But he talked about how in World of Warcraft, right, for example, old WoW is very slow. The leveling process is slow. It's easy to die. You have to really take your time and go from place to place, right? And it's just kind of a genuinely just more kind of like slow-paced game comparatively to the newer expansions that are just very much you level quickly, you're into the next thing, you can queue into a dungeon immediately. It's just like game, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and he prefers the old one, right? And me kind of talking to him just kind of to figure out why, because I'm the polar opposite. I get bored in tears playing WoW Classic.
I fall asleep.
You know? Yeah, right. I just
Yeah.
just bored, right? It's literally the journey for a lot of those kind of people. They really enjoy the slow process because it makes them feel immersed with their character. You know,
And I don't even mind that, but it's like I think if Horizon would have added a glider, I would have bought it on the spot.
sure,
You know, literally just for that.
Sure.
Like you get to the top of that mountain, okay, at least I can glide down.
right,
You know, like
Yeah.
just something. Like with Red Dead, like there was just too many parts where it was just like, I don't want to fucking take my horse. I
Sure.
got the fastest horse in the game.
yeah,
I
no,
still
I
don't
totally,
wanna.
I totally, yeah,
Like, and they try to pepper in random encounters as much as they could, I guess. Like, you know, every now and then you'll find somebody who's like getting robbed or being taken to jail or you get ambushed. And
Right.
like, that's fun and all, but like, it still just felt like a chore. Because once you
Sure.
see the map, it's not as fun to transverse the map.
sure,
You know, once you've already unlocked that area, it's not great to take hella long to
right.
get across it
It's
again.
a first-time spectacle for sure.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, like if Red Dead, like even their fast travel system's like okay. You know, if you upgrade the camp enough, then you can fast travel from any camp that you set up, which is cool. But it was just so slow.
yeah,
It got to the point where like it was just like I can't do it. I'm falling asleep, and the reason I know I fall asleep is when the controller hits the ground.
oh yeah.
You know, and then I realize I'm dropping my PlayStation. Sorry,
You okay?
dropping
you
my
dying over there.
well, yeah, dude, that fucking mango energy or whatever it's called. I just like it got to the point where like I'm just constantly dropping my PlayStation controller on the ground. I'm like, that can't be good for it.
Yeah,
You drop it every fucking 30
yeah,
seconds.
it's jostling whatever fucking
yeah, dude.
all the circuitry in there.
Now, okay, I have a question for you. How do you feel about the Backbone?
We mean,
Have you seen Backbone? You haven't seen Backbone. You Google Backbone real quick. So what this is there's two versions. There's like a standard and then there's a PlayStation quote unquote version. And it's essentially a Switch controller that you hook up to your phone to make your phone a Switch. Yeah, so there you go. No, you don't even gotta say Switch controller. Just that's like my dumb way of describing it.
oh, like it snaps in. I see.
Yeah, so
This
you're
thing right here.
yeah, so they have them with a lightning cable and then they have them with USB.
Oh,
And as you can see, like it's basically you take like a controller, which looks like a big Switch, and then you snap your phone into it, and you can play like remote play and Xbox games, and like it supports most games.
that's cool.
So like I've seen people play like Harry Potter on it. This guy's playing like Monster
Yeah.
Hunter,
Yeah.
and like I looked it up. It says that it doesn't support my phone, which is the only reason I didn't buy it. But then I see on people on Reddit are using it, so like I'm on the fence. But I wonder like this is like to me like it looks like an evolution in gaming, right? So that was Horizon, but so you basically you turn your console into a Switch with remote play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like I wonder why this is just like its own company. So it's not a Sony company, it's not a Microsoft company. Like I think that they got maybe licensing to make the PlayStation style one, but they're not made by PlayStation, you know what I'm saying? And then there's the
Right.
original that looks more like an Xbox controller.
Right. Huh.
You know, I'm surprised you haven't seen one of these before.
No, I haven't really followed too much of the handheld stuff, but like I mean, this is definitely interesting for sure.
Yeah, like I like the the idea of being able to like just play your PlayStation game on your phone if you want to. You know what I'm
Interesting,
saying?
yeah. So it's specifically the app is also what they're selling too.
Yeah.
So the app is what they use to stream to connect to your stuff.
Yeah, and then like
Interesting.
the app has its own games as well, but I've heard they're only like okay. Like
Right.
my thing is I'd want to be able to play like God of War on it, you know what I'm saying, or Harry Potter. Cuz like I'm thinking about re-downloading and replaying Harry Potter again.
Yeah.
Yeah, cuz my list of games is growing again. So I got so bored of Red Dead, I ended up re-downloading a Fractured Butthole, South Park.
Oh, nice.
And
Yeah.
I forgot how good those games were.
Yeah.
Because South Park, they made that last game and it flopped. It was fucking terrible. It was the worst
I know you're
thing.
talking about that. Yeah.
It was just like the worst thing that happened to video games in a long time. It
That
was
sucks.
so bad. It's like they're trying to market it to children. so the dialogue's not there anymore. Like the Stick of Truth and Fractured Buttholes were literally playing an episode of South Park. Like you're in one long episode of South Park. Like every character in South Park is integrated into the game somewhere, and like the idea of a Fractured Butthole is it's the Marvel universe.
Okay.
Right? So you have Coon and Friends, which would be like
Yeah.
I think Coon and Friends would be the representation of maybe Iron Man's side.
Okay.
And then you have fuck, I forgot the name of it. It's like the Friendship Squad or something like that. Freedom Pals.
Freedom
And the Freedom Pals
Pals.
is like the Captain American side.
Nice. Oh,
And like they're like the whole premise of the game is that they're trying to find a lost cat to get the reward money to start their movie franchise.
Cool.
And like they have like the full franchise of like, you know, like every character gets their own movie, and like all the Avengers of type, like, you know, the Coon and Friends movies where they're all together, and like the whole franchise to where it all ends in like one last Coon and Friends movie.
Yeah.
And then one last Freedom Pals movie, and then like
Okay.
they have Civil Wars
That's
in
cool.
it. Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, and then there's like Civil Wars, you know, like the actual Civil War movie. Like it's all basically a bit of
Marvel.
South Park version of the Avengers movies.
Cool. Cool. Sounds like fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and the dialogue's really good. It's turn-based.
Turn-based. I was gonna say yeah.
Yeah, you know, like where you can move X amount of tiles and then choose your attack, or you can use an item, and depending on the class system that you choose, you could use certain moves. So some moves will go straight forward a few tiles. Some will be like an AoE effect. Some of them will be like a heal. Some of them will do knockback damage. Some will do status damage. And then as the game progresses, you're allowed to mix up to 3 classes.
Cool.
And you only have 4 moves. You have an ultimate and then 3 others. And like between, if you mix your classes right, then ideally you'll have a move from each class set,
Cool.
right? And then and then you
Just
choose
cover everything.
Yeah, and then you choose 3 characters to follow you around in the battle. And like, you know, so it's like, you know, you, just like any games like that, you know, you want to pick like a healer, you know, maybe somebody that's a heavy, depending on how you're playing your character, you might want somebody ranged or somebody non-ranged who's just going to be right up in their face.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you got taunters, you got people who shock and freeze people, like, and,
yeah. Full on RPG.
yeah, but at the same time, you're playing an episode of South Park.
Yeah.
Like fully, like every character's in it. Like it's not misrepresented at all. Like there's a quest to help Cartman's mom hand out business cards because she's a prostitute, and she's calling it tutoring. And then at one point, you get a call from her because a pimp is at the door trying to like kill her.
Oh no!
And like you have to show up and like you literally have to backhand the hoes to charm them to attack the pimp for you.
Oh my god!
And you kill the pimp, and then like, and then now like the 2 hoes and Cartman's mom are in your stable,
Yeah.
right? And they're calling you daddy and like taking selfies with you.
No.
And Cartman comes in and he's like, "Mom, like, why is there a dead pimp on the ground?"
Yeah.
And then he sees your kid. He's like, "Why are you here?"
Yeah.
You know, and then the mom's just like, "I made you sweets and cookies in the kitchen." He's like, okay, and he walks out to go get the food because it's Cartman.
Yeah.
You know, it's so good. Like,
Yeah, it's clearly written like it's supposed to be.
yeah, like what was it? Stan's dad is addicted to cheesing, which was the episode where everybody's getting high on cat piss.
Oh my.
So he has
Jesus.
he has a special summon where he comes in like an old 1940s cartoon and like on like a warship, and then like bombs everybody and like. Just everybody in South Park is in it.
That's cool.
Like,
That's cool.
So I started playing that again. But then I realized PlayStation Plus I need to check again. They might have just dropped Crisis Core for free.
Oh, cool. Hell yeah.
In which case,
Hell yeah.
I need to play Crisis Core updated because that was one of my favorite games by far.
Old game.
Old game,
Yeah.
but it was the first Final Fantasy that I played that obviously wasn't turn-based. You know, because it was more free roam, and then you got that little counter thing going for special moves. But the story was so good. Like, it made me want to try other Final Fantasy games, but there's just something about them that makes me not.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is about Final Fantasy games. I feel like every time I see one, I see the trailer, and I go, that looks like an incredibly cinematic, pretty, epic game.
Yep.
And I still never do it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about those games that just deters me. Like they haven't, like the newest one. Like I saw the trailer and I was like, that was fucking badass. No part of me wants to play it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a stylistic game. You know,
Yeah.
like it's. I think Final Fantasy is one of those franchises, series, whatever you want to call it, where their cinematic value has always been a huge thing for them. You know, and it's like undoubtable. Like everybody likes. It's just you can't contest against how good that shit is. You know.
Oh yeah.
But that doesn't mean that the game is suitable for everybody. You know, 'cause a lot of it's turn based. You know, a lot of it's not turn based anymore. You know, now it's just you just run around and they're hack and slash games now.
Yeah,
you know,
or you end up in like a fighting modulator or something like that, like where you see the enemy on the open world, but they can't necessarily attack you until you enter the modulating phase,
and then it goes into turn based.
Yeah, or even in Crisis Core, like you'd enter the modulating phase and then you'd still be running around. It's just that there was no outer combat.
Right.
Like you're only actually fighting it once you're in the fighting mode.
Yeah, you're not in. There's overworld stuff, and then there's the actual like battle, like hub that you're in.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I kind of want to try one. It seems like a really big investment because I think they're all long as fuck too.
Depends on which one you do.
But I just besides 7 and maybe 10, you can argue 10. When do you ever really hear people talking about Final Fantasy? Because it's obviously
on a mainstream level, not a whole lot.
Because obviously it's successful, right? Square Enix is like one of the big ones, right? Like, and to make fucking 30 of them, they couldn't all be trash. Like, where would they get their budget at one point? You know, so they must not be bad games. But you almost never hear somebody talk about them.
Yeah,
not the same way.
Especially the
like,
modern ones.
Yeah, like not the same way like Assassin's Creed gets talked about, or
right.
you know, Fallout or Call of Duty, like something that's been like kind of mass produced. You know, like those ones you hear about them like from day one. Like you hear about the launch, you hear about the trailer when it comes out. Like you people are talking about it in the culture when it comes out. Like Elden Ring.
Right.
That was like part of the culture. Even if you don't play that game, you're going to hear the words Elden Ring. Right? But Final Fantasy is just one of those, like, they seem to never endingly exist, but I just never hear anybody actually talk about them.
Yeah. No, I know that the newer ones, it's all subjective, but the newer ones are not nearly as good as I personally think, as the old ones, just because the old ones had more charm to them. New ones feel very, hey, look, remember this thing, or check this. This is the thing you always wanted to have. Very baity, I guess. You know, like. Anyways, but I do know that one of the reasons why we don't hear about it is because it's actually significantly more popular in Japan.
Well, it's because it's them.
Well, but also that's where it started. You know, Final Fantasy was a game series that the West adopted.
Yeah.
You know, versus the other way around. You know.
Yeah. There's never a white guy in Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Yes, there is. There's plenty of them. But
every time I see it, it's beautiful Japanese boys.
Oh yes, of
with
course.
With long, sharp hair,
or smexy little fucking beautiful Japanese ladies.
Like, I ain't never seen no white guys. I've seen black guys.
There's Barrett, big ass motherfucker. Yeah.
But whites? I mean, Cloud, maybe.
So I guess Cloud counts. Yeah,
I don't
for
know,
sure.
Man.
There's Cloud. There's Jesse, I think is his name. No, James. Jesse and James. No, I can't remember that guy's name now.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's definitely white people in fucking Final Fantasy.
There must be, right?
I'm sure there is.
I don't know.
I don't really can't even think of any right now.
Exactly. God damn it.
Who knows? You know.
No, it just seems like it seems like it's for them.
But also, like, I like Final Fantasy, but I only really have played up to like 10 and parts of 11. I finished 13, but 13 was like the final like. I don't really care for most of the newer Final Fantasy, you know. I don't know. It just doesn't. Again, for me, it doesn't feel like the same Final Fantasy anymore. You know. Something about you could argue it could be nostalgia. I don't know. But something about the old games and the charm they had, you know, was just more immersive. Whereas a lot of the newer games, sure, they're cool, but they're so heavily leaned on spectacle and like crazy combos and just the wildest thing we can cinematically do.
Yeah, like Pokemon.
That it feels unreal, you know? It almost breaks my immersion more than anything nowadays, right? You know? Like, I guess, like, it's nothing is cohesive, right? Where the old games, everything kind of, like, had a song and dance together and everything connected together, right? The new ones just feel purely spectacle-based, you know?
Are you going to play the new Pokemon?
I don't even remember. I know we talked about it. Is it?
It's another Legends.
That's right. It's Legends. That's what we talked about.
It's gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah.
Celebi this time.
I haven't heard more about it since we last saw that trailer, and then we got hell hyped about it.
Yeah. Well, because Arceus was
But
debatably, it was good. It was better than the other open world ones, but
right.
not enough to where I wanted to play it again. And that's a shame because Pokemon is one of those games that
Replay.
all
Yeah.
day. Even if you choose the same party, you know, I'm sure I've played
You need to
like
fill it.
Emerald with the same party more than once, like
Yeah.
same starters. Picked up the same Pokemon along the way. Like I always go for the fire type in Emerald, and I always pick up a Shroomish
Yeah.
as fast as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah,
So I can get a Breloom that knows like Mach Punch. You know, and then there you go. There's my combo for all my dual battles.
yeah. Breloom was so strong.
Yeah, and then like everything else kind of just fell by the wayside. I just needed those two,
Yeah.
and I was gonna get through most of the game.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and it's all style. You could do that. You could have one Pokemon. You could have all 6. You could have just 2. You,
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can do whatever you want.
As a kid, you know, it'd be like Charizard is there, and then everybody else is just to use revives
Yeah.
on Charizard.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, I just
it's
need
all
you guys
preference.
alive long enough to give me Charizard back on.
I
the
was definitely the kid that had 5 Pokemon specifically and always left the 6th spot open for Legendary. And I would keep all of my Pokemon at the exact same level.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd rotate them out. You know?
also, I always felt like the legendaries were trash.
Certain ones were. Ho-Oh wasn't great. Lugia was pretty fucking sick.
Yeah,
His Aeroblast was disgusting.
but like I never used any of the dogs.
No.
Entei, Suicune, or
No, me
Raikou.
neither.
Not interested. I didn't use any of the birds.
Oh, really?
I mean, Zapdos, I think I used.
Zapdos is pretty
But
fucking strong.
Articuno, Moltres, no. Mewtwo, no. Who else? Rayquaza, I would have because he looks cool,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't use him. I definitely wouldn't use Groudon. or
Groudon.
Kyogre.
I liked Groudon. Groudon was cool.
It just I don't know. I always felt like the regular Pokemon were stronger than the legendaries. Maybe it's because when you get a Pokemon younger, its stats get better over time.
Right.
Versus getting it all the way at level 70.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, where its stats are already kind of fixed and like,
Well,
you know, there's not going to be too much progression with it.
yeah, there's, without digging too deep into it, there's what's called EV training, you know? So
Yeah.
there's IVs and EVs. I don't know you know what that is, right?
Yeah, it's all about when you're
It's a lot of
breeding
that. Yeah, your characters, brain, your original like starter Pokemon, objectively, well, for sure, your starter actually are designed to be really fucking strong, like
Yeah.
legendary status. All the other ones, yeah, you've bred up or trained up, and they have certain values assigned that are, I guess, bigger, you know. But
Yeah.
then legendaries can catch up in the same way, you know. You just have to train them.
Yeah, but like, you know, like I think with that, like there's people who will start the game 1,000 times to get the right Charmander,
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they'll
yeah.
just keep doing
Yeah,
it over and
and
over
sometimes
again.
trying to go for a shiny, which is crazy.
Those little Pokemon things were crazy. Like I remember, I think in the third one in Emerald, there's a spot of grass in the beginning of the game. It's like I think right before the second gym. There's one spot of grass where you have a 1% chance at finding a Bagon.
Oh damn!
And you could start the game with a fucking Salamence essentially on your team.
Hell yeah!
And like I remember doing that, like because somebody told me about it. It took me fucking hours
Yeah.
to the point where I was just like, I don't even know if I want to do
Is,
this.
is this real?
I don't know
You
if I want to do this now.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
like Pokemon Go gave you the whole like catch 5 in a row, and now you up your chances for shinies and perfects. And I remember spending hours catching Magikarp to where I got the perfect Magikarp and then named it Rape Tornado. Because that's what's more aggressive than a rape tornado.
Yeah. Not much.
Dude.
Not much.
Dude, you hear something. Just imagine hearing that on the
Jesus
field.
Christ.
Here comes my rape tornado.
Like,
It's
how
like, well,
about
we're
no?
fucked.
How about
We're fucked.
no?
It's like, I'm leaving.
Can I forfeit? Yes, I'm
I'm not
forfeiting.
fighting whatever that is. I don't care if it's a ditto. Like fuck that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's like similar to Final Fantasy though. Like I think like with Pokemon, like they tried to make it more of a spectacle, but then they kind of lost on the magic of what that game is. You know, but
Yeah, I think they're going in the right direction. It's just they need to fill their fucking worlds with shit.
Yeah,
You know,
it does feel like
it's
a
still
lot
too
of
empty.
Yeah,
It's still too empty.
yeah, I could agree with that. And like, it's not even like fill it with more Pokemon. It's just things to do.
Take a page out of Breath of the Wild specifically,
Yeah.
and put random little huts with characters there, you know, that
Yeah.
you can trade an item with, right? But put rare spawns in here in different
Yeah,
spots,
because
right?
in the original Pokemon, like, you might meet a guy early in the game. He's like, "You got a Farfetch'd?"
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I don't got a Farfetch'd.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah,
"Well,
yeah.
bring me one."
Yeah, yeah. Or even just like, you know, a random little mini side quests and stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like, just fill it with stuff like an RPG should be. Because now we've traversed the realm from a top-down kind of isometric, I don't even know what to call like the old Pokemon games. They're very simplistic,
Yeah.
right? With it now being open world, especially with Scarlet and Violet, where you could go in different orders for the badge for the gyms and stuff,
Yeah.
you know. So we're in true open world Pokemon now, right?
Yeah.
So because of that, you need to now fill said world, which is what RPGs do, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so you have to kind of make sure you're doing the adventure side, which is Pokemon, right? But also now fulfilling RPG side. And you can't just continue to put biomes in and change like the way the biomes look, but not put other things in it other than Pokemon, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they have the gyms. I like the super big Pokemon that they had in Scarlet and Violet where you had to go
Yeah.
and fucking I like that they added those Team Rocket-esque, but they were other teams. It was like a fire team and a
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
the fuck I know. Anyways, point being is those are great. Have like 3 to 5 big mainstay like things that you have to do throughout your entire playthrough,
Yeah.
you know, to give you motivation, but then fill it elsewhere with a bunch of other shit.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
not cooking.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm so over
Yeah,
cooking.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't care about it.
Yeah.
I don't care about the minigame sequence when you're cooking
Mm-hmm.
or trying to find the right item combinations when
yeah.
you're cooking.
Yeah, it's not
Because
not
you
into
don't
it either.
Well, it's because you don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't. You get you can get through the whole game without cooking once.
Yeah, it's
Like, it's not significant enough to where it matters.
right.
Like in Red Dead, at least with the crafting, like, you can get some cool shit, right? Like dynamite arrows. You know, like, okay, that's worth learning how to craft for. But like in cooking, it's like, yeah, we'll raise your status effects for like 30 minutes.
I don't need
It's
it.
like, I don't care.
I'm already blowing through everything.
yeah,
in
when
this game.
Charizard's a fucking animal. bro.
Yeah,
and
dude.
like, and the other thing is like, even though they did make it to where you could do whatever order you wanted for the gyms, there was still an order. If
It
you went
was
to
an implied order. Yeah.
if you went to the ice biome, everything is super high level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you could start left or right if you want, but there was somewhat of like a, you know, like
Suggested order.
yeah, and that's like, no, you don't got to do that. Like,
Right.
have the Pokemon and all that scale as the game progresses.
Right, which is what Skyrim
Not
did.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Breath of the Wild was very much like it didn't matter where you started. Everything was going to be kind of low wherever you start and kind of higher wherever you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and like in Pokemon, it was very kind of fixed. It was just like, yeah, if you just go straight for the ice biome, you're gonna get butt fucked and not enjoy
Right.
this game.
And if your concern is for like, well, like what about those like rare Pokemon that you get that, you know, like typically in all other Pokemon games, like you can't run into a Bagon, like you said, like right away.
Yeah.
And usually that's way later in the game and they're around higher level Pokemon. And it's like that. I get that you want to keep that kind of, I don't know if mystique's the right word, but like that kind of like power scale in a way.
Yeah.
But then you, my mind was, we'll just place it on the literal opposite side of the map that you have your starting zone in, you
Yeah.
know, and just by nature of journey, and if the game's good enough that players are going to get distracted all the way
Yeah.
through, you know,
Yeah.
that it doesn't really matter.
And they did a decent job at scaling the Pokemon because you need to catch certain Pokemon to traverse the map more, right? Like you can't just start off by getting a flying Pokemon,
Right.
And you can't climb certain hills in the beginning of the game, you
Right.
know. Because and if you do somehow manage to get up that hill, now you're finding like Alakazam in the wild, and you're like, okay, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I'm going to get my fucking
So,
ass kicked.
Like that was good, but with the gym leaders and all that, it was just like, oh man, like I guess I got to go the way they want me to go, even
Yeah.
though it's not supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I mean I'm excited for the next one. I'll play it. I mean,
I think it
I'll
could be
probably
good.
play every Pokemon that comes out.
Yeah, I mean,
know,
we're just Pokemon fans.
Except for the weird side ones. Like I never played Rangers.
No, I didn't play. I did try. I think it was like Pokemon Adventure, I think, or Team something. I don't know. I did play like a Game Boy Advance game, like that was basically like a dungeon crawl game.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah,
It's
but it's not
not
you know.
notable.
Yeah, it's
you
not
know?
like Pokemon.
No.
Like they had it just right that first time, and that's why they were like copy and paste for like 5 generations, 6 generations.
Yeah. Well, now it's hard too because Pokemon's owned by 3 different companies now. It's split 3 different ways.
Oh
now.
yeah, because what's his name died on a fucking park bench.
Is that why, or was that were they already split by then? Because the Pokemon Company, Nintendo, and then Game Freak all own a portion of the Pokemon IP.
Yeah, but what that one guy was kind of like the representative for all 3 though. Like they're kind of all going to him.
I don't know that
I
much.
can't remember. I
unfortunately.
can't remember his fucking name because I keep thinking Toriyama. That's because I'm racist.
No, Toriyama was DBZ, right?
Yeah. Just racist.
Miyamoto? No.
Oh, see, that's racist.
Is that?
I think
racist?
guessing is racist.
Is Miyamoto Nintendo?
Yeah. Welcome back to Hard A history.
I mean, how different is it from them guessing random white people in America they don't know
that's
about?
true. Everybody's
You
using
know?
hawk to them.
Like, it's just, I'm just listing names at this point
Yeah. Hakamoto Sani-san.
that I know is in Japan.
Yeah, like fucking Tomoto.
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 That's not a name.
It could be. How do you know, you fucking racist?
Do you know that's a person?
No.
Well, then that's racist.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Is It Racist?
I ripped ass, by the way, so I'm going to scoot over
fine.
here.
That's fine.
I apologize.
Oh, man. So we got a couple minutes left. You're going to get your wisdom teeth taken out
On Monday,
tomorrow. Let's talk about that. Because what are you going to do? Because you don't take, like, not that you don't take painkillers. Painkillers seem to not work on you.
No.
So what do you do? Like,
Suffer.
you're just gonna like
I
pull
just
an
suffer.
all nighter tonight. So like you're kind of like out of it tomorrow when you go in, or
No.
you're gonna try taking your own drugs.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna eat like 2,000 milligrams of
They
edibles.
were convinced that this last time, so the viewers don't know this, one of the other reasons why we were out of commission off and on this past like month is before I got COVID last fucking week, 2 weeks ago, I don't even know how it was now, before I got COVID, weeks prior to that, I had a tooth that needed to be emergency pulled due to a fucking abscess that had grown deep underneath my roots.
Fucking yikes.
That because I was a dumbass, I just never went to the dentist.
Yeah.
It could have been detected a long time ago.
That's how it always is.
I just was lazy and just never went to the dentist.
That's how it always is. They always tell you
know?
could have prevented this.
Yeah, of course. It's like, well, stupid. Like this was an easy fix. A year and a half ago. So, and then even like my dentist was like, you clearly don't have like. You have a high pain tolerance, don't you? And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, you have all these problems that we're fixing that like anybody else gets like a fucking slight infection near their nerve, their fucking mouth freaks out.
Oh
It's
yeah, I'd probably
excruciating
punch
pain,
my fucking doctor
you know?
right in the mouth. Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know how you survived like this. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't feel anything.
Yeah.
I brush my teeth just like normal. I use mouthwash and I'm big chilling.
Yeah.
Like I don't. What do you want?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't floss. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I mean,
sad. Why not?
But fuck me, I guess. Anyways, so that tooth, the reason why it was so painful pulling, because for folks who don't know, the infection had gotten so bad underneath that when they went to go pull it, no matter how much fucking Novocaine that they were pumping into my fucking gums, directly shooting into it, right?
Yeah.
It did not numb the tooth. So I felt every last bit of twist,
Ugh.
pull,
Ugh.
yank, chip,
Rape.
grind,
Yeah.
everything. Like an 1800s torture chair, bro. And every time he would twist it was when I'd be like, like I was,
yeah.
I was groaning, dude. Like
Yeah.
whatever poor kid that came in the last 20 minutes of my fucking surgery,
Scarred
that
him.
was sitting next to the fucking room, dude. Because I was definitely trying my best to hold in yelps, but.
Yeah.
What can you do at some point?
Oh yeah. You know what Bubbles does is he pinches himself really hard.
Oh my fucking.
Because here's the thing, Bubbles refuses the Novocaine.
Why?
Because he's afraid of needles.
What a pussy.
So I know, right? He's fucking worthless.
It helps you, bro.
Animal, but-
Like, it helps you.
No,
dude.
he'll come back with like tons of bruises on his like rib cage and stuff and his
my
legs.
God.
Because every time it hurts, he pinches himself as hard as he can.
What is it?
But so okay, so they
Anyways.
know that you clearly have the problem with the drugs. The Novocaine doesn't
So
work. Are they
that
going to
was-
give you other drugs?
That was because the infection was so bad that it wasn't able to.
But did
like,
you have this
know-
problem before too, like with other past teeth
No.
issues? I thought you've always been like that. Like every time
I
you've had
bounce
to-
back from Novocaine very quickly.
That's
you
what it
know.
is, yeah.
So you were normally you can get shot up like 4 times, and be good for the full 30-minute, 45-minute procedure. You have to kind of like re up my fucking Novocaine about 3 times in
Yeah,
30,
but they've
45
got
minutes.
they've
you know?
got other shit they can give you too.
Yeah,
Like, are you
the-
going to go on the nitrous? Or are you going to go on?
They got me a prescription that's like a kind of like a calming, just like anxiety pill, you know, that will just kind of chill me the fuck out before I
Yeah.
even go in, you know.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Perks?
And then they're just gonna do. I don't know actually what they're giving me.
Oh, okay.
Go get it still. But then they're gonna inject the Novocaine in high count again, but at a higher dose and stronger dose.
Yeah.
But I trust him. I was like, look, I know that the last one was just really bad because of the infection, you know. So I trust that you guys, this will be not a big deal, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's like they do this shit all day.
Right. He's specifically oral surgeon too. Right.
Yeah.
So and on top of that, the wisdom tooth that I'm getting removed tomorrow, right, has been a problem for a while.
Yeah.
This was the original problem that I was going to the dentist to address after fixing some other teeth, you know?
Yeah.
And then this other bullshit started. So I had to get that fixed. So now we've returned to the original problem,
Yeah.
right? Where the wisdom tooth is now breached through the gum completely and is now impacting the back of the molar. And if it keeps going, it'll crack that tooth. you
Yeah,
know? So I
that's what-
have to get that removed.
That's what happened to me with one of mine, because I had all 4 of mine, and
I only have 2.
Lucky, yeah. Genetically, they're starting to not happen as much,
Yeah.
but
They're both on my left side,
My-
top and bottom.
my
which is
sister
weird.
only had 2 also for some reason. Lucky bitch, but
Genetics, dude.
yeah, I know. But yeah, she got the good genes. I got the sweats. That's what this nose always say. But my top right tooth literally pushed the other one so hard that it started pushing it out of the gum line. But you couldn't notice because the other tooth was hiding it. To the point where when they actually removed it, they noticed a giant hole in the back of my fucking molar. So they had to drill it down and then fucking put a cap over it.
Oh, that
So I've got a
sucks.
diamond in my mouth.
Yeah.
I picked a diamond because that's the one that's least likely to break
yeah.
over time. Yeah,
That makes
they'll all
sense.
give you cancer, but
That
at
makes
least
sense.
this one won't
Yeah.
break.
Yeah.
Because I've heard of people breaking caps or crowns, and that sounds fucking miserable.
Yeah, I mean, the nerves usually are, if they've been root canaled, you know,
Yeah.
like the nerves aren't there, so you can't feel anything.
I found out from my dad that you that tooth under your crown could still go bad, whatever's left of it. So they had to take out his fucking crown and take the rest of the tooth out.
Yeah.
That sounded
Yeah,
fucking
it's
miserable, too.
that sometimes can be due to a couple of things, but because I've learned a lot from this whole process.
Yeah.
right? But crowns specifically can happen in 2 scenarios. Either A, your dentist was shit and didn't have a complete seal, and over time it weakened.
Yeah.
And then infection was able to crawl, or bacteria up in there and create an infection, right?
Yikes.
The other scenario is that sometimes based on how the crown is positioned, right, your gums, as over time they get, maybe if you have bad, gum care, you don't floss or whatever the fuck, right, your gums will recede over time, and then infection can crawl down and then start from the bottom up and go
Yes.
from the root of the tooth upwards.
I've seen that shit before,
So,
where people's like gums
yeah.
start to recede. Now they look like they have hella long teeth.
Yeah.
That's fucking disgusting. It's terrifying.
Yeah. It's another reason why I need to floss more too, just because it prevents that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that sounds fucking terrifying. I got
Yeah.
all the drugs. But to be
Yeah.
fair, they were taking all 4 of mine out. It's not a long procedure. Like
No.
it's probably going to take like 20 minutes to get your
yeah,
shit out
especially
of your
because
face.
mine's already pretty much front and center.
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
the problem is it's the root. It's not really the other part. Like the top of it, the only thing you have to worry about them is them accidentally breaking it. But if it's not infected and fucked up, that's probably not going to happen. It's the problem is that the root gets so deep, especially on the bottom ones. So all right, so this is what happens with your bottom ones. The root will get so deep that it starts to meet the main nerve that goes from ear to ear, and it can either penetrate the nerve or wrap around the nerve. In which case, they have to be very careful not to fuck that nerve up, or else you're fucked. Like you'll never have feeling in your mouth or tongue again. In the top, the problem is that it could breach your nasal cavity, and if they're not careful when they take it out, they'll leave a hole in your nasal cavity, and a specialty surgeon, has to go up in there and close it. And that sounds like it's really fucking hard. So like that's why you want to like get them as soon as they see them, essentially, because like the process to heal, but also the process to remove them is way easier. But like, I mean, it's probably gonna take like 20-30 minutes tops, because I think they did all 4 of mine. It felt like it went by really fast, but they also gave me every drug, because I told that dentist I also went to a surgeon. Like he was like one of the main surgeons for the emergency department at John Muir, and because my shit was fucked. And I told him like they can't put me under because of my sleep apnea, which is terrifying, because I found out like, if I ever go under surgery because of the way that my body reacts to sleep apnea, you can wake up through the anesthesia.
No, that'd be scary.
Yeah, because your body's trained to wake up when something weird happens.
Yeah.
So, like, you can be in, like, a really intense surgery and still wake up through it. But because of sleep apnea, they're like, we're not putting you down. So, sorry for that fucking dream, but you're going to have to be awake for this shit. And I'm a pussy. I did not want to be awake.
Sure.
So, I told the guy, and I said this on the podcast before, like, you have to give me enough drugs to transfer a circus bear without chains. To confidently be able to move one.
Okay.
And he gave me 2 Valium, a Percocet, the nitrous, and fucking 1,000 shots in the fucking face.
Nice.
And I'll tell you what, I felt every tooth. I knew exactly what they were doing on every tooth, and it did not bother me.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt.
Yep.
You just know it's happening. But you at the same time, because of the nitrous, it's a dissociative. So you just don't care. You're like, oh, they're on this one now. La da 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 da.
Yeah.
Let's go back to my music.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable in the dentist chair. You know, like, so if you put enough Novocaine in, I'm the same way. I can feel you do everything. I can feel you fucking the tooth up. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't. It doesn't hurt. You know, like it doesn't like bother me at all.
Sometimes
you
they like cut the tooth in half.
Yeah.
And then pull out each half.
Chunks. Yeah.
Ugh. Oh. What a fucking nightmare.
This doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's just one.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, Lynn, my roommate Lynn, she's 73, but when she was like in her 20s, she got her wisdom teeth taken out. She got all 4 taken out, and that night went to a fucking Leonard Skinner concert.
Crazy.
So
fucking animal.
like, yeah, so it's not as bad as it sounds. Like,
Well, the surgery has gotten better over time too.
oh,
It's
yeah,
a lot easier now.
Well, like, and to think like that's pretty much what that dude does all day. Just takes out people's fucking like wisdom teeth. Like, so it's just like for him, it's just like a
Well, yeah.
walk in the
Well,
park.
he's not just a wisdom tooth. He's like an oral surgeon altogether.
Well, yeah,
you
so
know?
is my
He
guy,
does
but,
like
like-
he does because he's not in. He's like in his own little service, like dentist place. You know,
He's a
practice.
malfisher.
You know, huh?
He's a malfission.
Malfishing.
I don't know how you spell it. Look up that word real quick. Let's see if we can figure out how to spell it together. I'm going to guess the first 4 letters will be M-A-U-L.
Mal.
M-A-U-L.
M-A-U-L.
Yeah. F-I-X-I-O-N. I don't know.
I don't even know if Google knows what the fuck we're trying to spell, dog. What the fuck?
Maleficent.
What's a malfishing?
It's a fucking oral surgeon for teeth.
I did not know that.
Type in, I guess, oral surgeon, and then the word M. God, malpractice. God. Just put M and then search.
I'm starting to not sure if this is real, my
It's
guy.
It's gotta be a
I
word.
don't know if this is real, dude. Did you get bamboozled, bro?
I might have gotten bamboo. There it is.
Where?
There it is. What? MAXILLOFA facial. Maxillofacial.
Maxillofacial.
Yeah.
That's not whatever you were saying. That's definitely not
It's
what that word
not
is.
Even close. Not even close. Maxillofacial.
Maxillofacial.
Doesn't Google have the
okay.
thing where it can say it for us?
I think I'm done having a name.
All right, folks. Well, go to youtube.com and type in Thickness in the Shine and watch the Little League Parents skit.
Yup.
We finally released it, I think, between our 2 channels.
Yep.
We broke 500 views.
Not bad.
It's not the 60,000 we got for pissing on each other, but help
I can't
watch
believe
it,
that.
share it, show it to your friends, show it to your family. If you like it, share it. It only takes a second. It literally takes none of your time
Yeah.
to be like, hey, my boy made a fucking skit. It's fucking hilarious. Here's the YouTube link. If you were on the project and you're not sharing it, fuck you. Fuck every part of you. I will.
Every party.
I will personally molest and
We'll find you in the next shoot.
I will light you on fire and put it out with my dick. I swear to God. See you later, folks.
Bitch, and go see your dentist.